So far, so good. So far, so good. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, or as I like to call it, New Comic Book Day Eve, or on the verge of Loki season 3 or episode 3, midway point. Now, I do want to apologize for the internet last week, guys. I have no idea what happened, but the cable bill has been paid. The internet bill has been paid. Canada does have internet, because I know a lot of people were like, "Hey, man, does Canada have internet?" Yes, we do. So don't worry. I'm just watching the baseball game here, so I had to come down to my man cave. So I'm not in my office, but let's get the show going. Let's bring in Mr. Dark Star. What's going on, man?
Not much. It looks like you just got robbed. The show must go on.
Yeah, it's like, sorry guys, but yeah, I'm downstairs. I'm in the man cave. Moved into a new house, so there's like nothing kind of down here yet. So yeah, just watching
the intro worked. The video's smooth. I'm excited now. I have confidence.
Hey, fingers crossed. It's still early. It's still early, yeah, it's still early. So but what's going on, man? How was your weekend? I know you just did you did the second or third show, right? You're running?
Yeah, that's the third show I put on this year. So it's called Dark Star. It was awesome. Really good time. Good community vibe. Really
I would have come out there if, like, the organizers would have messaged me and said, hey, like, we can do a signing. Like, I've got an exclusive, so we could have just got like 1,000 copies and just signed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could have.
All right. So I don't know. I'm just saying I could have found a blank. I could have found like 200 blanks or something and then just brought back. Pause. I think that sounds dirty, but I could have brought like Mighty Avengers 1, the blank, brought it there, and we could have done some signings. So that would have been cool, but the organizers didn't really didn't message me. So
I'll talk to them.
All right, thanks, man. No foil either. So
yeah, okay.
But,
no foils.
No foils. No foils.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a requirement.
But yeah, so hopefully this week, the internet doesn't cut out. But yeah, we will be talking about Loki. We're coming up to the midway point. There's a few people that I know and that very closely who hate the show. And then there's like the 99.9% of the other people who are digging the show. So I can't wait to talk about that. So yeah, let's get the show going. Rock steady. I know we're not joined by our buddy Black Crown just yet. I think he said he was running a bit late, but I do got to ask, light week, heavy week, medium week on New Comic Book Day this week?
Medium week.
Medium.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm going super light,
why.
Possibly nothing this week. So that's kind of where I'm at. So, but before we start the show, let's say hello to the chat. Mr. Dan Delatorre is taking home the gold. What's going on, Dan? Mr. Spidey Hunter, what's going on? Mr. Michael Baker is in the house. What is going on, sir? Mr. Brian was actually at your show, correct?
Yes, he was. He was set up. He did well. He brought good horror magazines.
Yeah, I saw that he had
magazines.
Yeah, I saw he had some stickers too. It's
yeah, you got tagged in some photos.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
The show, didn't you?
Crazy. Yeah, yeah, crazy. See, that's the thing. I could have went out there and just signed on the stickers. That could have been
that I could arrange. I could talk to them about that.
Yeah, when's Dark Star 4?
February.
Okay, maybe doable. So we'll see. Mr. Vancouver Comic Junkie, this week's host on Black Crown Comics, this show on Sunday. So
it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. Mr. Nemesis Prime, internet working this week? Yes, it is. Like I told you, I got that paper route, so I was able to fork out a few cents to pay the bill. We only get a sporadic internet in Canada. The English really with the what's funny is Chris is saying this from like probably the best place to live weather-wise in Canada, because he's the only one that's probably in shorts and sandals like 10 months of the year, where the rest of us are wearing like our 3 jackets, scarf, toque, all that stuff. So not sure if it's makes sense for him to say it. But
he knows
yeah.
the country though. He gets around.
Yeah. Hawaiian Punches in the house. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? I heard Newbie's gonna start doing auctions again, but I've been saying that for like 3 years. But I also heard that you're gonna be coming out of retirement to do some auctions. So congrats on that, Mr. Lord of the Long Box. There. Whoa,
What up?
Shows? What's going on? Mr. Dan De La Torre, yeah, great job on with it. Yeah, man, it was a good show. So definitely go check it out if you haven't. Big Data crunched all the dirty laundry from the Res Ezra Miller. Where those missing Native women went. Oh,
I don't think you should read everything that goes on the.
Yeah. Huh. We'll see. No much. Vancouver. Move to Vancouver, guys. It's not apocalyptic winter wasteland 8 months of the year.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's not that bad. Like it's okay.
Speak for yourself.
It's decent. Yeah. Actually, it was funny because I went out with my wife the other day, and I think it was on the weekend. We went to go get food somewhere, and I was like, winter's over. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, summer's over. I mean, she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, my sandals are put away. Like, I'm not gonna wear shorts the rest of the year. I'm not wearing sandals the rest of the year. It's over, right? So
you got your house shorts, but your going out shorts.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah. So RP's in the house. What's going on, brother? All right. Well, let's start the show, man. I'm ready. I'm actually pumped to go talk about Loki because we missed last week, obviously. So can't wait to talk this week. So let's get it going. Episode 146. We're almost to that 500, man. Like I'm pretty pumped about that. Like the giveaways for the 500 show are going to be insane.
They're piling up.
Insane. Yeah. Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, co-hosted by none other than you, me, and of course Black Crown, but he's a little bit late. So let's rock and roll. First up, guys, and we will be talking about Dynamite Pick of the Week. All right, Rocksteady. Movie, cartoon, Darkwing, or Cleavage. What do you think this week?
Cartoon?
Oh, well, because everybody was going super foil and everybody was talking about foil and foil this and foil that and NYC foil and foil and foil and foil. I said, you know what? Let's go ultraviolet. So we're going Red Sonja 2023, issue number 4, cover N, the ultraviolet cover. Yay or nay?
I kind of like this one. I'm good with this one. Perillo. Like that's good.
We did it, boy. We did it.
Yeah. No, this is a great cover.
Thank God. I was worried. I really was. I had to come strong. Internet issues last week. I had to come strong with everything that I did today. So one for one. Let's go. Yeah. BC probably would have been proud too, or Tim, but obviously they're not here when I have some accomplishments. They're only here when I'm burning. So
none of us saw it.
All right, let's get into New Comic Book Day, and here we go. Al Capone, baby. Now this one, some people were like, "Whoa, is there any spec?" Because I had brought it up in other chats and things like that. And I said, no. It's just like, think about it. It's Al Capone. It's vampires. Put the two together. You got this. I mean, I'm not saying that this is $100 book. I'm not even saying this is a $20 book, but it's kind of cool. Al Capone, vampire, number 1. What are your thoughts? And again, we're kind of coming up close to Halloween, so we are seeing a lot of this Halloween stuff, right? But it's interesting that they would have picked Al Capone.
This is cheese balls, man.
What? Come on, man.
If you ask me.
Oh,
I just think they do this every year. They always have the gimmicks. And they're crap stories. They don't hold any value.
Wait, wait, hold on a second. Rewind for a minute. You are into comics for the story and the read?
Well, I'm just saying, like, who's buying them if they're not investment and they're not a story and a read?
The art, the Al Capone fan, all that stuff. Yeah, no. It's Halloween. We get some of this stuff, no different than around Christmas time. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I could see down the road, maybe like 5 years down the road, you see this in a dollar bin and you're going to be like, I'm going to pick this up, right? I I think it's just cool. Again, like I said, I don't see this being even a $20, not even a $10 book. I think you might lose your money even at $4.99 Canadian. That's what, $7, $7.50. So I wouldn't even think that you would get it for $7.50 down the road. But nevertheless, it's a cool little thing that's coming out this week. So if you're into it, there you go. I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of these gimmicks and a lot of Halloween stuff coming out. So we'll see. Wow, geez.
Yeah, sorry, harsh.
All right, sticking with the vampire kids. So we got Miles Morales debuting as the vampire, and I believe there's a first appearance of a character. Rim?
I don't know the name.
No?
Okay. It's kind of led up to this. It's cool to see Blade in there, which is timely, obviously, with Halloween. And we're getting a first appearance. So, and this is a villain. I'm on everything Miles Morales. Like, I think I have every variant of this book for the last 2.5 years of different Miles runs, because the other one came to a close, and this is what, issue 10 or 11?
11.
Okay, yeah. So I think, yeah, I'm on it. I'm going to get the variants. I'm going to get the ratios.
Damn. Okay. Miles is a vampire. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely skipping this. I'm not the biggest Miles fan to begin with, especially not on your level. Like, you are just, out there when it comes to that stuff. I've seen it firsthand. You collect everything Miles. So totally dig the fact that you're getting it. I would expect nothing less than you obviously getting the variants and the ratios. So that's kind of cool. I'm interested to see how those ratios do, especially this month with again the Halloween vibe and everything. So we'll see. Boom, boom. All right, I was hoping that BC was going to be on here because he was really pumped about this one. Second printing, obviously. I mean, say no more. This is probably one of the best covers I've seen. I can't wait to see this in a 9.8. I'm hoping that one that I send will be a 9.8. If not, I'm probably going to end up buying one of these because this looks damn cool.
I am shocked they didn't make this a ratio, but good for them. They're just basically printing money with this cover. Yeah. I think this will go down as one of the classic covers from this era of books. Yeah, I think it's good. I like it.
The thing too is, and Rocksteady, you kind of are the one that taught me about all the ratios and stuff like that. But the first one probably will. Do you think the first one will be more sought after because of the low print run? We always hear that, low print run, because I do think that this one's going to be more ordered than the last one.
No, this will be more ordered from the last one because it's so much better than the last one.
That's what I mean. So do you think that the first print will be more desirable or worth more because the print run's going to be lower?
No, there's so many JTC negative space out there now. I think this one takes the cake. What I am worried is they're going to do negative space with different backgrounds for all the characters and play it out, right? That's what I don't want to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Yeah. You sending one away to CGC, or are you just buying just to buy because it's one of the covers?
Yeah, I got 3, one for myself and 2 to put away.
Ooh,
like it'll move in the future, right?
Big time.
Liquid book to have.
Big time, yeah. And especially if you're a big Thanos fan, iconic character, right? Pop culture wise, things like that. I think it's a smart one to have. So yeah, can't wait to see this in person. I can't wait to see this in a 9.8 case. Hopefully 9.8. If
and
not,
maybe 9.8.
Heavy
ordered. It's not heavy ordered like it was a year ago or 2 years ago, right?
Right.
Like shops are shy right now. I don't think there were any incentives, so maybe 10 to 20 per shop kind of thing.
Yeah.
What would you echoing on your side?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm echoing on my side. All good.
Woo. Internet, please don't die. Please don't die. All right. Any comic mentions that you want to talk about before we get into the comic news?
Not particularly.
No?
Just Miles for me. I like that Thanos cover. I think you nailed it.
Sweet. See? Look at that. No internet last week. Hit the dynamite pick of the week. Hit all the new comic book day one. So that's pretty good. All I need now is a DC fan to be like, you forgot about DC. But It is what it is. All right, let's get into some comic news, people, and then we get to go right into Loki season 2, episode 2, and then we'll talk about episode 3 coming up. So can't wait for that. All right. First up, man, I had to bring this up just simply because of basically some of the chats that we've had, and Rocksteady, our group of collectors, is collectors. It's not necessarily one avenue. We collect a lot of things: comic, toys, video games, VHS, DVD, things like that. So I thought this one was kind of like a, hey, maybe go check out Best Buy because they're ending their physical media stuff. They're not going to have a lot of that stuff, so maybe go collect it now. You don't know what you're going to find. It's probably going to be on sale. We've got a lot of Best Buys in Canada. I'm not sure about the US, but I'm actually going tomorrow to Best Buy.
It's an interesting one, but I think physical media will still live on. It'll just be internet sold there, right? But sorry, Best Buy can't compete with Amazon.
I don't think a lot of people can compete, right?
So with the price of gas, with people's time, I just think everything is going online.
So we used to have, and I know you're from the GTA, but I don't know if you've ever known about this place in Niagara, right? Niagara Falls. But there was a place called That's Entertainment. And, for us locals, it was where you rented your movies, your video games, everything like that. It was massive. And the staff would wear basically the uniform that you would see in those old school movies, right? The vest, the white, and the bow tie. And I remember they went out of business because obviously nobody's buying that stuff. And I remember the last day they had all VHS, all DVDs, all video games for $1. Some sealed stuff, some not. And again, remember, this wasn't in the height of right now where VHS is super popular. It was literally 2018. So nobody was really thinking about that stuff. I mean, there was probably a few, but not the masses. And I regret that. I really do.
Hindsight, man. Same with all the blockbusters. I regret not buying all the blockbuster stuff, the signs and the posters and the displays and all that, the Nintendo cabinet or stuff like that would be so cool to have right now.
Man, I've seen some of the best man caves when it comes to us nerds with that stuff, from that stuff. Same with and I know the US doesn't have this, but Greg, you would know Future Shop. When Future Shop ended, I remember I was just getting into high school when it closed, so my buddy's older brothers would have jobs there, and they had the signs, or they had some of the racks, and I always thought it was super cool, especially because one of my buddy's brothers worked at the electronics, the video game and all that, so he had the racks and all that, and the Nintendo signs, and it was just always cool. And then I grew, apart, and our friendship kind of just, as you get older. So I never was able to ask his brother, hey, man, you still got those signs? Because I would have loved to have bought them. But yeah, I don't know. Now,
that or Zellers.
Yeah. But now when I hear stuff like this, I'm always okay, I got to go. I got to go. Maybe they have a deal. You never know what they find in the back. They're clearly trying to get rid of stuff, so you never know what they're going to bring from the back and stuff.
My display case here, this is from a jewelry store that was going out of business, and it's a Swarovski display case, and it has all cooling fans and crazy lights.
Jesus Christ.
Where you get that stuff? Don't be scared to ask.
No, and there's sometimes on Facebook Market too, right? I know, especially around my area, it's very well. I use Facebook Market for a lot of things like that. You always see it, business is going out of business and things like that. So you never know. All right. One of the more interesting things, and I know people are always talking oh yeah, Fantastic Four is cool, but Fantastic Four apparently has been cast and will be announced when the strike is over. Now this is important. Why? Because as soon as we get the casting, the sooner we get to throw those rocks, because we're probably not going to agree. Just before the strike happened, we got some rumors that, certain people were casted as the members. We had Adam Driver rumored to play Reed. We had Mila Kunis rumored to play The Thing. in this weird woke world that we live in. We had, there was a guy from The Boys, I think.
Yeah, there's been so many, honestly, dude. You could
Yeah.
just list off forever.
100%. I think it'll be good that we kind of finally get these characters in, because once we get the casting, we can probably start thinking, okay, who's going to be the villain, what the story is going to be, and where they're going to pop up next. I don't think they're going to go out of their way to be like, yo, we just casted these guys, and then, it's going to be on the shelf for, however many years. So I think it's interesting. I think it's a good thing that it's going to be announced. Are you ready? Are you pumped? And I got to ask, out of the rumored people that were, rumored to play any of these, is there one that you were like, oh, I hope they get it? Because I'll be honest, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, I could rock with that.
Yeah, no, not really. It's just been done so poorly in the past, like the original Fantastic Four movie, which we aren't even allowed to talk about.
Or the second.
It's too bad they wasted what's his face from The Office, because I thought he would have been really awesome.
The guy from John Krasinski.
Yeah. I thought he was good, and that sucks. But I think that was more of a fan service. I don't know if they can go with Adam Driver.
I hope not. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I've heard
it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, it's because you don't like Star Wars." No, I just don't see that. I don't know, just everything about him. I don't see it transpiring to Reed Richards for me.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because, with all this reboot talk that they're talking about, with the MCU, when we get to Secret Wars and stuff like that, it does seem like the old cast and possibly this team of Fantastic Four is probably going to be what kind of pushes us to the next 15 years or so, so I can't see them going too old with characters either, because they probably want to avoid having, somebody in a role for like 10 years. They start when they're, 40 or 35 and later on. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I think this paves the way for a new Marvel world. I think they can't make it too close to home to the other series and tie them together. I think they need to kind of make it its own entity, its own cosmic kind of world type thing. So yeah. I hope we get this. I hope we get Doctor Doom. I hope we get it all. I want it. I want everything.
I just hope that they don't, how do I say this, fuck it up like they did with Adam Warlock, because there's a lot of cosmic people that were pumped for Adam Warlock. There was a lot of Adam Warlock fans out there.
But everybody says they fucked up. Like, we've barely gotten to see him. Like, I don't know. People have said that about every character. We got to see where it goes.
No. They all can't be She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, That's what I always say.
You stop picking on Moon Knight.
Yeah, forget Moon Knight. Well, listen, let's talk about, not B-list, because I don't want to disrespect, but we do have another character that's already been, shown on the big screen. They're going to have their own. We still don't know if it's going to be a movie or a show, because it's been said and rumored that it's going to be one, the other, then back to the movie, then the show. No, it's going to be a movie. So here we are. But now Ironheart is tentatively listed with a September 3rd, 2025 release date, which means nothing, right, Rocksteady? Because anytime they release dates, it really means, hey, coming up to this, we're probably going to delay it. But it is a positive note, knowing that this is going to come out. They have this on the map. It's still going to go through. We're going to get it no later than a year and a half from now. So that's exciting, because we do get our Armor Wars supposedly before then as well. We're going to have, all this stuff. So we just finished off with James Rhodes. So we know now that, he probably doesn't even know that Tony Stark has died and things like that. So it's going to be interesting. Gotta ask, man, are you interested now that we know that, hey, it's on script, it's on time, it's going to be released? Or are you just like, screw it?
I think we're chumps, because this is exactly what they want. They release September 3rd, 2025, which like that exact day, like just say September 2025. It never comes out when they say it's going to be. All this strike stuff just messed everything up. Why even give a date at this time? Even just say 2025. And they just do this so shows like ours and other shows will talk about it. That's all this is.
It's
This
true.
hasn't changed anything.
It's true. I totally 100% agree with you in that. Where
Tentatively.
yeah. I just think that I think it's a good sign that we're getting this because it wasn't too long ago. Like I think it was like 3-4 months ago where it was like, hey, they're actually thinking about like maybe passing along this, maybe
Well,
kind
they
of
axed everything at that point, right?
right. And don't get me started on Wonder Man because Wonder Man just got scrapped supposedly. So the fact that they're picking and choosing some of these B-list characters, I guess, and no disrespect, but like when you're talking about these B-list shows and these B-list characters that we're going to get, they're picking and choosing now. So obviously they see something in this character, whether that's going to mean it's going to tie into, Tony Stark down the road or whatever, or they want to have like an Iron Man-esque person, man or woman. I think is going to be interesting to see. So I'm interested. Like I said, this stuff, when you talk about investment, when you talk about, things like that, this book is, Invincible Iron Man 7, Invincible Iron Man 9, even all the ratios. Greg, we saw that one. What's that pink variant that used to go for like 6,000 to 8,000 Canadian?
The decal one?
Yes, right? Like that is
I think
shattered.
that's number 9, the one in 25
Yeah.
or something like that.
Like that's basically like maybe $1,000 book if you post it at that, but like all her books are down once she comes
I've been
back.
looking at some.
Yeah, once we see this character again, the John Cena effect, right? They're just going to creep up. So I'm excited for that because I've been looking at her first appearance as well. I mean, some people are trying to get rid of it at a good price, and some people just want to hold a museum. So
the only problem with her is her first appearance is so messy, right? That's the only thing holding that book back. If it were one defined book, I think it would be popping along.
Why do you say messy? Like, are you a fan of it being number 7 or it being number 9?
Well, it's first Riri versus first Iron Heart, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's too close. I think if they were years apart, like Scott Lang versus Scott Lang becoming Ant-Man kind of thing.
Carnage.
That's a little.
Carnage is another one, right?
Yeah, like so 9 is the superhero, and if Riri ever does something else and somebody else becomes Ironheart, like the character lives on. So I think 9 is a little bit better, and I really like that 1 in 25, but
yeah.
Still a little not as defined, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm definitely, if I find one at a good price, I'm definitely going to pick it up for sure. It's just, same thing with Shang-Chi, right? They're just books that, these characters are coming. They're going to go up. They're going to be on top 10 lists. The sheep are going to follow. So, it is what it is. All right. I've heard this one before, like during COVID, then when we got out of COVID, and now back at it. But Cyberpunk, a live action 2077 project is in the works. This comic basically was on every top 10 list. People were going after it, picking up all the ratios, variants, this, that, boom, boom, boom. I skipped all of that. I didn't really catch the vibe for this personally, but again, a popular series that people were going nuts for. You a fan or are you passing?
It has its cult following. I do like it. I'm not a huge fan. I would never diss it. I think, yeah, cool book. I'd watch the movie. Yeah. I don't have too much to say on it other than I'll watch it, I'll go with the flow, and have zero expectations going in.
Zero expectations. Do you have the book for it? Like number 1? I think it's that yellow one, right? The yellow with the helmet. Like I don't know really anything about this. So
it started as a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm confirming with you. I'm just making sure.
Oh, I was saying, like go on. Yeah,
that's what I believe. Chat, correct us. I can't see the chat because I'm on my iPad, but I think it was a game first, then a book, And yeah, now it has a cult following, and it's its own world. It's good to see.
We'll see. We'll see how it does. Again, video games right now. I mean, Greg, you could touch on this, right? Like video games, anything right now is like super hot. Everybody's trying to collect it. I think the success of Super Mario,
I don't know if video games are that hot, or we've just switched over and it has a little bit of excitement. Prices were still higher during the pandemic, just like everything else.
For video games, like actual games or the comics for them.
No, the games.
Mm.
Yeah, the sealed stuff, and it's a good time to buy, kind of like
right
in
now.
all categories. Yeah.
Damn. All right. There are 2 games I'm looking at right now on eBay. And I've kind of switched collecting something, but I don't want to ruin it because, guys, I am working on Newbie Spec of the Week, and I actually have like a different twist that I'm going to be doing, because I'm not going to be doing it on the Tuesday show. I'm actually going to be doing like a pre-record for it. I think it'll just work better. But yeah, there's something interesting. Greg, I haven't spoken to you about it, but I think you're kind of doing the same thing with SpongeBob, so I think you'll appreciate it. And I can actually, I'll tell you like backstage. So boom. All right. You're probably thinking, what the hell? Okay. Goblin Queen. So apparently, my good friends at Animated Times have, posted the fact that there's a Goblin Queen pop coming out, an exclusive for X-Men 97, the animated series that we're going to be getting. Now, this is leading a lot of people to thinking that, well, while we wanted Omega Red, while we wanted Apocalypse, while we wanted, who's another villain? Mr. Sinister, we're probably going to get the Goblin Queen as one of the main villains in the series. So I got to ask, does that excite you? Does that mean to go pick up all the Goblin Queens? I swear to God, I think I've got like 10 copies of her first appearance, because they were literally like $1 book. It's nothing
But
like.
But aren't there different Goblin Queens?
Maybe. We're the X-Men people. What are your thoughts if they go this route? The only thing that I suggest is please depict her like you guys did in the comics in the show. That's all I would say. That's all I would recommend.
What sucks is that Goblin Queen doesn't strike me as X-Men 97. Then it doesn't hit the nostalgia feels. Mm-hmm. I think that's what people are going to be looking for. Like you said, we wanted Sabretooth, we wanted Mr. Sinister.
I want Sinister or Apocalypse, 100%.
Or give us Emma Frost. Like, there's so much that you can go down, and yeah, could you imagine if we got like Silver Samurai, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they don't go that route. I think it's cool.
Sorry, not Silver Samurai. I was thinking Strife.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if they do go this route, because people are just going to be a little disappointed. Remember, they're already completed 2 seasons, right? So it's supposed to be 3 seasons, and they've completed 2 seasons of the show. So
is this Disney?
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, before we go on, talking about a Goblin Queen, let's bring in our own Goblin Queen.
Goblin Queen is what you're going to refer to me as. Nice. What's up?
What's happening, dude?
Not much, man. Going a little cuckoo on this end of the BC household.
Oh, man. Listen, you don't even want to be
the origin of the Goblin Queen.
Yeah. Listen, we got a new kitten today. The dude is literally like this big. Yeah. So my wife went to PetSmart or whatever, picked one up, and Lola.
She better not have gotten it from PetSmart.
No, it's
the adoption.
The adoption thing,
okay.
Yeah. Lola though has been going nuts all day, dude. It's literally like jealousy 100%. Like,
no kidding. She had you guys all to herself.
Oh, dude, it's insane, man. You pick her up and like the noise, like she swatted at me for the first time. I was like, "Oh, bitch, what?" So, but enough cat talk, man. We're here to talk comics. BC, great show on Sunday. I was finishing telling the people, make sure to go check it out. Vancouver Comic Junkie. He was in the house earlier in the show, so good show. Episode 14, correct?
No, that's episode 20. Chris is a riot. I love him. He's such a good guy, and he definitely is very informative. So check it out.
Yeah. Also, episode 20, guys. So 6 weeks late, but yeah, Chris is a big one. So listen, we're talking possible villain for the X-Men 97 show, Goblin Queen. What are your thoughts if they possibly go this? And again, you know how it goes, man. When certain toys come out, when certain things come out, people go cuckoo. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But what are your thoughts on the possibility of Goblin Queen being a big key player in the show?
I think it's awesome. Look, I'm going to be honest, dude. I was at Walmart over the weekend. And when I was at Walmart, I was in the toy section with my kid. And I noticed, do you guys hear a delay?
No.
No? Okay. But yeah, I was at Walmart. And in the toy section, they had all the X-Men 97 toys.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So like now we're starting to see other characters here popping up, like you see within the Funko Pop. So hey, dude, I'd be all for seeing Goblin Queen. Now I do know they were talking Mr. Sinister as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So dude, I'm all for this. This is good stuff, man. And I'm just pumped to kick off the X-Men cartoons. Now we're not supposed to get that, I believe, until early next year now, right? It got delayed again.
Yeah. Well, it's gotten delayed like 3 times. Yeah. And remember, right? Like I just said before you came on, like they've already finished 2 seasons of it. I think it's supposed to be 3 or 4 seasons. They did finish 2 seasons. So they're kind of ready to go with this. I think, like, you know, like Rocksteady said, right? I think most of us, though, want to see Mr. Sinister. We want to see Apocalypse. We want to see Sabretooth. I don't know. We want to see Goblin Queen or, you know, it's just.
I do. I'm good with it. Let's do this.
We'll see. I got to say, the Sentinels and Apocalypse, when I was a kid watching that show, used to scare the shit out of me.
The Sentinels.
Yeah. The Sentinels used to freak me out. So
the real Sentinels that scared me was actually when I was playing the X-Men video game. You remember when you had the option between Psylocke, Wolverine, Cyclops, Gambit, and man. Yeah. It was amazing. And then when the Sentinels showed up, I was like, shit.
That was tense.
Yeah, it was. It was very intense.
You get the sweaty knob and then the button.
The sweaty knob? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, it was just a control pad back in the day, man. I don't know what knob you were playing.
Listen,
in the arcade.
This is a kid show.
Arcade, yeah. But no, they had it also on the like the Wolverine stage. You had to fight the Sentinel head. I don't know if you remember that one. And that was on the the SNES video game, and it was on, well, obviously on Sega as well.
Yeah, dude, I remember that. Even Maximum Carnage. I mean, if you go back and look, like some of the music, like the darkness of it, like
those good games.
Dude, I always thought it was dope because the game, the console itself was red, right? Like I always thought that was cool. So,
dude, the fucking riff of the Maximum Carnage is so good when the game starts.
Yeah, I used to, man. I remember. I mean, obviously, I'm aging myself when I say, you know, I was a kid when that game came out, but I remember, you know, thinking, oh my God, this is sick. Like the game is red. You start playing it. And I remember the guy's name was Craig Burgess. And he's like, yo, Joel, you want to come over and play Spider-Man? And I was like, man, there's no Spider-Man game. Cause back then, you know, like internet, like, I mean, we had internet, but like, it wasn't like
you're going to better than your internet now.
It was probably worse back then, but what I'm saying is, as a kid, we didn't stay in front of a TV, a computer back then, right? Like we were playing outside. We didn't care. So realistically, you went based on if you trusted the person. So if they said, hey, we got a Spider-Man game, you were either going to be like, oh shit, let's go, or man, you're lying, right? Like that was just what it was back then, right? We didn't have phones to like check if this
there
was
wasn't
accurate.
A commercial for it, we didn't see it. Like we saw the Mortal Kombat commercials, the Street Fighters, the Marios, the Metroids, but
man, even when Pokemon Stadium first came out, I remember like it was the height of Pokemon cards and everything. And I remember this guy on my street, Mitchell Raymond, was like, dude, my mom just bought me Pokemon Stadium. And I was like, there's no way. And he brought me to his house and we played for like 7 hours. Yeah. And I remember just not believing him because he was the liar in the neighborhood. He was like somebody he just made bullshit up. So,
dude, my parents had, we're getting completely off track here, so I'm sorry about this, but my parents had this little fucking TV box. It was like just, you remember those tube televisions that they had in the kitchen. So we didn't have that luxury of putting them on the walls like we have right now. And I remember we got our Super Nintendo. I think it was about like 4 or 5 years old. and I put it in the kitchen, dude. Like you said, I'd always be outside, but then when you come home, play Super Mario, it was the bomb. It was my favorite thing to do. You just took me back with all of that.
Yeah, dude. Like, and it's crazy because you talk to younger people, and it's like, yeah, we played outside. Like, I don't know, and they're like, didn't you have internet? And it's like, yeah,
Dude,
we did.
all
but-
my friends, bikes would be outside. Everybody would park, and we would go inside and just play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, rollerblades or bikes.
Yep.
Woo! Man, we were a part of the rollerblade craze. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Yeah.
All right. My
Yes.
favorite part, and we are gonna do after next week's episode. I am gonna do like maybe a pre-recorded with a few people. I hope you guys can join me. I definitely want to get some of the haters. There's that like 0.1% of people out there that are hating this show, and I don't know if it's because they're either watching it in Asian, they're watching it with no sound, whatever.
Who hurt them?
Who hurt them? I have no idea, right? Or maybe they're day drinking, and I don't know.
So it's funny because Justin was the one who was like commenting on my stuff, putting like shit and whatever, like saying it was terrible, and I literally DM'd him. I'm like, you must hate carnivals, like, or just I don't know, like you just hate everything.
Fun police.
I think he's still living a high off of Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's still living off that.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm just bugging Justin. To each their own, but yes, I'm enjoying it. I see you threw up a 9, so get into your thoughts, and then we'll go into ours.
Okay, listen, right off the hop, and I think when I posted it, I had said, the pros. Sylvie, we get her. She looks great. She's dynamite. We get a little sense of her. At the end of the first episode, I thought maybe like her memory, and I don't know. This is just from my view, so you guys can't be like, you're wrong or that's stupid. But like, first episode, she goes back to Oklahoma to the McDonald's and she's like, I'll try everything. And then that got me thinking like, oh, maybe her memory erased. Maybe she forgot something because the timeline, whatever. But now we realize in this episode that, she knows everything. She's just there for whatever reason. I'm sure that's probably where the variant is from. Probably going to mean something down the road, obviously. Loki, I'm loving more and more as I go, man. Like if you would have told me when Avengers came out that I would love Loki, I probably would tell you that you're a liar, you don't know me, but I'm loving Loki like more and more. And it's crazy because until this confrontation with this Brad character, right? Like you kind of forget that he's a villain because he's doing all this good stuff and he's trying
how
to
powerful he is.
Yeah, right. So like it's really crazy to me because in that interrogation, I was like, oh right, he's the bad guy, right? Like you kind of lose sight of that. Like I said from day one, I thought Mobius was gonna be like an important character, and he is. Like just comic aside, investment aside, like I really do think that character, Owen Wilson, plays it really well. The suspense, the tense, everything, the darkness of it, all the questions. I feel like I'm watching Lost. You know what I mean? Like you finish it and you're like, oh man, I've got like 10 more questions.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get Victor Timely. I think we all did, but
at the beginning of the episode,
yeah, right when they went to like the 40s, 50s, whatever they are. That Brad character, I feel like I went to school with a guy like that, and I just want to punch him. So
yeah.
But overall, it was great. They mentioned Iron Man, so I can't go wrong. That kind of bumped it from an 8 to a 9 right off the bat. So I can honestly say that Loki season 2 so far, the first 2 episodes, are probably 2 of the better episodes, and probably putting Loki season 2 as the best show thus far for me.
Yeah, Loki season 1 was the favorite on my side of things. So number 2 is living up to it. We're getting more of what we wanted from the first one. We wanted more Mobius. We wanted more Sylvie. We got that. So I'm very happy where this is going. Like you said, I'm very happy we got to see that Loki is a villain, and we forget that. And he's out for redemption, it sounds like. And he didn't argue that. But that's what we want to see. We want to see superpowers. There's been a lot of running around. There's been time shifting. There's been popping between different timelines. I like where this is headed, but all the timelines didn't end, correct? Like there are still a few strands that are there. Does that leave us with like Ramatat with the famous Kang variants instead of the whole stadium full? And I wonder if each team or what have you go off and have to fight each timeline and spend time on different timelines. And I don't know, I just like that I can speculate, and it leaves a lot of questions for me to think about afterwards. And I watched it with my girlfriend. She loves it. She keeps asking me when the new Loki is coming out. She went back and rewatched the first season. I think there's a lot of fans out there, and I think this is more than what I expected.
So just before BC, says his piece, I watched episode 1 before I watched episode 2. Like I kind of timed it. And I thought, and I timed it terribly because there was like an 8-minute in between. And I'm like, God damn it. But like even that, watching it, episode 1 to episode 2, really, I thought made a difference because it was like, it's almost like Secret Invasion where you think you're like watching a movie or like, you're piecing a lot of things together and it's like, holy shit. But, yeah, overall, it's really well. One little thing, and I don't know if you guys caught it, and maybe BC is going to say it, I don't know. But in this episode, as much as we're saying that, hey, Loki's not a villain and he's growing more for redemption and the good guy, have you guys noticed in these 2 episodes that he's kind of like more controlled? And we saw that in the interrogation where Mobius like punched the guy. And Loki just turned an act where he like got dark, but then he was like, I'm fine, right? And he was like, let's go get pie. So it almost seems like you could see the shift where Loki is actually taking that mantle of like more control, the leader. So like I thought that was interesting. But BC, last but not least, what are your opinions and what's your rating, man? What do you give it out of 10?
So I'll get to the rating. I'm gonna go on just a little bit of a rant first because episode 2 was great. It was definitely not episode 1 action wise, but a lot of story development, character development. It really started to put things into perspective. I thought it was great. Now, show kicks off London, UK. They went back to 1977. I thought it was awesome. I also expected Victor Timely at that point, but no. Instead of that, we get Brad Wolf, man, and that's when, we start to see the exchange between him, Mobius, right, within that line, and Mobius being that, like, I don't want to say the naive guy, but he always expects the good of people, right? Like he sees the good in them and offers a drink. He takes off. So now we got the whole Zaniac stuff, and we knew Zaniac was coming, right, through the previews, leaks, and all of that fun stuff, but we knew that was going to happen. So they take off in the alleyway. Dude, that scene was so good. First of all, that's the first time we've seen Loki use any, mystical powers there that he has in quite some time. So I thought that was cool. But then after when he manipulates that gang, right, the crowd, and you see multiple Lokis and the shadows. The shadows
with the horns.
Down. Yeah, man. It was so well done. That, for me, it was one of the best things I've seen in a little while in the MCU. But then, we get back to the TVA, X5 being captured, who was, what's his name, Brad Wolf. We get Obi, and, we're back into Obi's room. I think Obi is phenomenal. I think he's probably one of the better things coming out of the season so far. 2 episodes in. I love him. I absolutely love him. The Renslayer data thing from the Tempad being erased. Now, we've got in episode 1 some info about Miss Minutes tied to Kang and being on the other side. So the division within the TVA has been very interesting. I'm going to touch on that very quickly in just a bit, but the whole interrogation thing was fucking awesome, man. When he... they do the first round. It doesn't go well. He hits him, like you said. But do you notice Mobius? It's not the first time, eh? Every time he's in distress, he craves pie. Do you think it's done on purpose? Is the TVA manipulating their people through that key lime pie? I have no idea. Right? But every time he's in distress, McDonald's, he went for a fucking pie. Like, there's always...
I wonder if we're going to get a flashback of, like, him living his life before his memory was erased, riding a sea-doo,
for sure,
eating pie.
Yes, dude. But the whole pie thing is kind of weird. Like within the TVA, like I don't know if you saw, there was even when Loki sits down with him, he takes a bite out of it. He was like, he kind of made a little face, and then after, there's like a perfect key lime pie in the TV. I don't know, it looks so good. I'm not gonna lie, man. But anyways, enough about the pie. He goes back, and the second round of interrogation, we get like Loki being devious, right? Like you saw his face change. The way he was interrogating at that point was like, oh, okay. Now we're starting to get the Loki that I missed, right? Because Loki, when you go back to watch Avengers 1 to what we're at now, this is two separate things. Yes, also because of what's happened within the timeline, but two different personalities, characters. He's no longer that evil Loki at this point, right? So my question out of all this is now, what's going to be the end game for Loki? No pun intended, but all this story to move the needle all the way till what? Secret Wars? Is he going to lead the Avengers? Is he going to, not replace Tony Stark, but Avenger Prime? Something has to happen with Loki for the big payoff. Loki and Sylvie. Does he end up being, he who remains at the end of all this? Is he going to watch over the timeline once everything is stabilized? Will that be his redemption story? There's so many questions that I have for Loki, dude, but I'm loving every second of it. Now, this episode, I'm giving it a 7. I know you gave it a 9. No, I'm giving it a 7. I think 7 is it's a fair grade, but I don't like grading episodes. I just want to see the whole thing play out. Okay, I'll be fair. I'll give it an 8. I'll take back the 7. I give it an 8. I give it an 8. But
I think if the show were to end today, like if that was the last episode, like I think you'd be like, whoo, goosebumps, and we'd be like, oh my God, like I do think that. So that's why I also gave it a 9. There was a lot of things. I know I joke about, they mentioned Iron Man. That's why I gave it an extra point. No,
I'm giving it an 8. Dan, don't worry. I give it an 8. I took back the 7. But that moment when they, figure out like, okay, they're not looking for Sylvie. They're pruning branches. Like you saw Zaniac panicking, right? When they were at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
When they get back to the TVA, did that not feel exactly like when the snap happened? This at the end of the day, they killed more people. The TVA killed more people than Thanos with the snap, technically.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Here's the thing, too. I don't think at the end of this series, I don't think we get a definitive answer on what happens with Loki either, or what he becomes. I really don't. I think the way I see it, we're getting up to, episode 3, the climax, and we're nowhere near knowing where Miss Minutes is, Renslayer, what the goal is here. I think that Brad character is going to reappear with like a lot more information, but I think it would not do it justice these next 3 episodes if we rush to like get him to be something, right?
No, for sure. I'm saying the end of Secret Wars.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Secret Wars, he's probably like Kang Dynasty. They're gonna have the effect of the Infinity War endgame. Yeah. Kang Dynasty, the Avengers are gonna lose, and then come Secret Wars, boom! That's what's gonna happen. It's Secret Wars. So I'm expecting Loki to probably lead the way at this point. He's so involved in everything that's happening multiversal at this point with Kang and so forth. He's got to be leading it somehow with maybe Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
right.
I think the scene that we keep seeing with Victor Timely, I think that's how we finish the season. I really do. I don't think it's going to be like the first season where like he's going to be talking to one of these variants or anything. I really think that's how they're going to lead it off.
The only thing is that they said that Kang is expected to be within half of the season. So we're almost at the halfway point, right? Apparently it's 6 episodes. So if we're only getting 6 episodes, I expect we're going to see him in the final act. So there's that. But another thing is the division with the TVA. I can't stress it enough. I really think that the TVA is going to play part in setting up Battleworld because...
Yeah, you've said that a few times.
You're seeing the division, and it's making more and more sense. At the end of season 1, once Loki got to the Void, you saw there was the Kang Tower. You saw there was the Thanos helicopter. That's probably going to be Battleworld. How that becomes it, I don't know. We'll find out. But the TVA for sure has to play part in setting up Battle World.
Echo.
Echo.
All right,
Because
settle
I'm
down,
echoing
Chris.
too.
Settle down. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, I this episode could have like been the end of the series, and I would have been like, that was a great series. Like, it just, from start to finish, it's intense, it's suspenseful, it's constant action. You got a lot of questions. You got to look. The one thing that I haven't done in this show, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? But like, I found myself in other shows looking in the background, like not even pay attention to like the story. I was like, what Easter egg can I see? What Easter egg can I see? Right.
Mhm.
This one, I'm actually like just allowed myself to be like, all right, let's watch this and like go. Like, that's why I was so amazed with like, after the first episode, people were like, yo, did you see the X-Men Easter egg? And I'm like, what? Where?
So I actually have a question. I have a question for both of you. First part of the question is episode 1. We see that Loki can go to the past to manipulate the future, and he also went to the future, right? The whole past to the future thing now, it works different, right? Time works different within the TVA, and you could see that he manipulated for Obi to get that device, right? That they needed in order to like get all that stuff happening, multiversal and so forth. So the change at that point kind of was a bit confusing for me, to be honest, because Captain America and everybody else said that they cannot do such a thing, but yet Loki was capable of. So now he goes to the future. Who do you think pruned him in that exact moment in order to make sure he lives and continue his journey?
Greg, do you want to say your guess?
You go ahead.
I think it's his future self. Yeah, because Sylvie was there, right?
Yep.
So I think he knows that, and I think that they made a point of it when he's actually talking to Sylvie, where he's like, "Why were you there? Why were you there?" And she's like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." So I think that it was him, and he was actually there in countless loops, knowing that was going to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because there was that phone that was ringing, and that's always going to stay with me, is why was that phone ringing and who was making that call? And you can see that in the future, it's distress. Sylvie's looking for him, and she's like, there you are. Do you think this is where we're starting to get towards Kang Dynasty / Secret Wars, right? At that point of the future? Or is it going to be the end of the season?
I do think this is headed straight for Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I think, everything kind of lines up, and in a place where people won't even like everything. All the other battles have taken place where all the other people were affected. This is going to take place, like you said, maybe on Battle World or something like that, where the human race has no idea that they're fighting for their existence and what they're fighting for. So that's exactly where I think it's going.
Yeah, but
I also think it's interesting that even in the future, they don't have caller ID.
Yeah, but all this to say, something that's coming out of just 2 episodes of Loki is, you see the way my mind is spinning?
Yeah.
The MCU has not been doing that for anybody in quite some time. So I'm happy to see this happening. We're finally moving the needle on the bigger picture, and that's why I look forward to every Thursday.
Yeah, it's a reset.
And I think too, like, none of us have talked about it, and I don't think anybody has really mentioned it, but like, I don't know about you guys, but I love the 9:00 on Thursday. Like, you can't watch it before then. You can watch it after, but like, I like the fact that every Thursday at 9:00, that's when. I kind of like that, man. I really do.
Yep.
When they were coming out in the morning and I couldn't watch them till the evening.
Yep.
I would see stuff on my Instagram feeds and whatever.
Right? Or now I know that if I don't
like 6 a.m. to watch them. It was one of the two.
Yep.
Well, I got to watch it early because I got a 10:15 show every Thursday now, and we're going to be recapping Loki episodes, right? So
that's at 10:30 if you want to.
No, mine, the newbie recap. Yeah.
Okay. 10:30. You're more than welcome.
Greg, overall, what, like, I don't know if I got your rating. I know you touched on it, but like, what did you overall give the episode?
8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, me, the
Hater.
hardcore grader hater, basically graded it the best. I think this is the best I've ever given anything. I think the only
It
thing
might
I've
be.
ever given anything good was like Top
Since
Gun.
Iron Man.
No, come on, Iron Man and the Miles Morales trailer. That was it. Those were the two things that I actually gave like really good things. Another
Love
reason Vancouver rules is we get Loki at 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Yep.
Boom.
You get to eat that with a nice. You get to watch it with a nice steak.
Yeah, we get it at 7.
Yeah. All right. Well, gents, I did do some justice here, and I did update some pictures after.
Oh, look at that.
Damn.
Yeah,
Much appreciated.
yeah, of course, man. So, hey, listen, Dark Star, let the people know, man. Where can they find you, brother?
Find me on Instagram. My next show is until November. I'll fill you in closer to that. Shout out to everybody who made the show possible last week for Dark Star. It was awesome. Yeah, shoot me a line on Instagram.
Yeah. Also, the 1,018 people that follow Rocksteady, there's only 52 of you that me and him have in common. So, like,
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says there. Like, fuck. Jesus. I would have thought that number would have been high. All right, Mr. 116, aka Mr. 0.166666667. Let the people know, man. Where can they find you?
Man, you can find me on Instagram right there with that handle, _Comics, and of course on YouTube on my channel. I just recently had that beautiful man there in the chat, Vancouver Comic Junkie, aka real name Chris, on my channel Sunday that just passed. We spoke so much fun stuff, market report, comic news, hot topics, but his VHS collection, man, that is something that always stands out to me. Literally pulled up a sealed original Exorcist VHS. I was like, geez, man. He's going heavy. But yeah, so definitely go check out that replay now this Thursday. I'm not too sure if Newbie's serious, but at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, I go live immediately after Loki to recap the episode. So we'll be recapping episode 3. And every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I go live with myself and a guest. So just to give you guys a spoiler, this Sunday, Hood Rat. Next Sunday, Cliff NY, baby. And then the one after that, Paperweight Collects, making his YouTube debut. So there's the next 3 weeks. You heard it here first.
Nice. Nowhere did I hear Newbie coming back. Nowhere did I hear a return. No, nice.
Oh, no. The door's always open for Greg.
Yeah. You don't get those invites? You don't get the group emails?
Yeah, I told him.
Wow. Wow, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I can't stress enough, I love you guys, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I hope you get your stuff back, man.
What? Myself? I was like, wait, what happened? Yeah, so I'll be tuning in for sure. Actually, BC, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm gonna be right on the dot. I always try to show love even if I'm working, but the Dolphins are playing against the Eagles Sunday night, and I'm actually I switched the shift, so I'm gonna be working Saturday, 8 a.m. till 1:30 in the morning, and then I got to go back to work at 9 a.m. and I'll be done at 5 in order just to have the Sunday night off to watch the Eagles. That's how fucked.
Hey, dude, I totally understand. I'm in a football pool, and a lot of my players are Eagles players, so that I can totally relate. But that being said, you did mention about being a guest and so forth, and I do see Dan Delatorre here in the chat. So Dan, if anytime you want to hop on, month of November is clear. There's room for you and Rocksteady at any time. So.
Anyway, before we take off, I do want to ask BC, because you and I seem to be the only players, fantasy players that are undefeated still. So I got to ask, just before we take off, in your fantasy league, are you still undefeated or did you get your first L?
So hold on. You know what? I'll pull it up. I could tell you, but it's not as fun. But when you look right there at the top and you see that big 6-0, baby.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
6-0. But I am going to for sure be getting my first loss this week. And unfortunately, it's against Leftero. So he's going to be rubbing that one in my face for quite some time. But I've got 4 players on bye week, 1 injured. So, yep.
Only one undefeated, baby. Only one. So
yep.
I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty pumped. All right, guys, I do got to thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on episode 146. Thank you to the internet. Big shout outs to the internet.
Yes,
You know,
thank
Ditto Canada.
shout out Kojiko, you know, everything. Hopefully we can start doing the shows upstairs in the office again, because this does look like I got robbed and my wife left me, and you know, my beard being messy or not trimmed doesn't help. So thanks so much. Rocksteady, BC, any last words before we take off? Take off.
Love y'all.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Don't forget, Dark Star, February 14th, Sunday, Black Crown. Don't ruin New Comic Book Day. Don't ruin Loki. Let's go. Why are you shaking your